Hello, everybody. I don't know if it started. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing this evening? Welcome back to the latest Max Velocity weather live stream. I hope everybody's having a fantastic evening so far. It has been a very chilly evening for some of you. For the other half of you, it has been very warm today. It's actually been a very crazy day overall in terms of the weather. Half of the country is dealing with really close to record low temperatures, while the other half is dealing with record high temperatures. It has been pretty wild over the last 24 hours, and we are beginning to still see this winter storm ongoing here across the United States. It is extending all the way into southwestern portions of California, all the way through New England. If we go for a widespread view here, there's a couple of different systems right now, but we got our winter storm that is currently ongoing across the Midwest all the way back through the Rocky Mountains, and then another one that's actually impacting more of the mountainous region back over in California. It's been a pretty wild last 24 hours across the United States. A really massive winter storm has taken place, and we are still seeing snow out there. We're still seeing freezing rain and ice accumulation. I'll give you the latest breakdown of what's happening this evening, as well as what is going to happen for the rest of tonight into tomorrow, because this is not going to end tonight. We're actually going to see more snow tomorrow for even parts of the Midwest. We'll have that chance for some snow as well, so I'll keep you posted on that as well, and along with the ice potential. And I'll also have some live cams in this forecast so you can take a look at what's happening around this area. But just a quick little note for those that are wondering what is going on with the temperatures. This is the temperature contrast across the United States. There have been record high temperatures in some areas in the southern half of the United States. This will really take place more tomorrow. Areas like Tennessee got near 80 degrees today. Even back into Kentucky, there was areas near 80 degrees. Back over closer to areas in the Dakotas, those areas right now are sub-zero in a few areas, which actually for those areas are record low maximums. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. I mean, this is again a pretty record-breaking event. We are seeing record lows and record highs being set in the same exact event and really in the same day. Tomorrow, though, will be more of the record-breaking day for temperatures, so just kind of keep that in the back of your head. But in terms of snowfall, it has been snowing a ton over the last 12 to 24 hours. Also, the Twin Cities is beginning to start to see more of the moderate to heavy snow moving through that area right now. I know a lot of people in the Minnesota area have not seen a whole lot of snow in comparison to what was forecasted. I'm pretty sure this area, at least by the National Weather Service, was forecasted to be between, I think, 19 to 25 inches. I could be wrong on that number. But for right now, it looks like the most recent report, which is about an hour ago, in Bloomington was about 6 inches of snow. So not really that close to the 19 to 25 inches, but obviously there is going to be more snow over the next several hours. In fact, there is a forecasted amount still to potentially get upwards of another 6 to 12 inches and maybe get close to that 19 to 25 inch range. But for right now, only 6 inches of snow has been reported so far just south of the Twin Cities. Back through areas in Wisconsin, we've seen a lot of freezing rain down in southeastern parts of Wisconsin near Milwaukee, as well as back near Janesville. There's also been some freezing rain there. This is equivalent to obviously some ice accumulation, so some travel impacts are definitely expected here over the next 12 to 24 hours. And you may notice that the live cam, by the way, below me, that actually, I've actually been watching this for the last like half an hour. There have been cars on the roadways. You can actually see one right now. So people in Wisconsin and anywhere really up here in the Midwest, some of them do know how to travel in these conditions, or they have to travel, so they have to know how to travel in these conditions. So there are people definitely out there on the roadways. But again, there is some freezing rain right now in southern Wisconsin, as well as near Chicago. There actually has been a little bit of freezing rain earlier today. It is now translating to more of a just a cold rain right now. Temperatures are above freezing in Chicago. You may have a brief transition to maybe some very isolated freezing drizzle tomorrow morning, but I wouldn't expect much of that. It's primarily already done for you. Back through Michigan as well, some areas here have seen several inches of snow. Michigan is going to see more snow overnight tonight, and I'll show you more again on my actual forecast here in a few minutes. But Michigan is going to see more snow from where this already came from. We're already talking about 3 to 6 inches in some areas. There will likely be about a foot of snow in some areas when you wake up tomorrow morning in Michigan. And also back through the Northeast, there already is beginning to have some freezing rain and snow in areas like New York and back through Vermont and New Hampshire, and even into Massachusetts. Areas near Albany, if we can pause this real quick, near Albany, these areas have already seen a few inches of snow. Back near Buffalo, New York, we are already getting reports of around 1/10 of an inch of ice, which obviously is going to accumulate to the potential for some power outages. And I'll actually get to the power outages as well here in just a moment. There has been a bunch of power outages this evening across the areas like Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin, primarily around the Great Lakes region. It's primarily in here where we've actually had power outages this evening, mainly due to the ice accumulation that we've seen across this area. Quick little heads up, by the way, there is actually a snow squall warning in effect for those back over near North Platte as well as Sutherland. This is an area that I covered for a tornado warning last summer, and they are right now under currently a snow squall warning. This is for very well reduced visibility in this area, as low as a quarter of a mile anywhere along Interstate 80 here. This is going to go until 9 o'clock tonight, so just a little heads up if you're in this region. I'm not sure if we can get a high def radar. We actually might be able to. Let's see if we can get a bit more of a high def radar on this little area. We'll put this onto the precip. There we go. So yeah, you can see the heaviest of the snow right now is located primarily, actually there's one little really heavy band of snow here south of North Platte. We also got another one just to the north of Interstate 80. That is where our heaviest snow is. If we go zoom in a little bit more here near Interstate 80, that is actually where we are seeing most likely at least some moderate to maybe heavy snow that is going to translate. And again, a snow squall warning is usually with very strong and very heavy bursts of snow initially. That is what we're watching for here. So the heaviest of the snow is likely going to be near Paxton, along with near Sutherland, right along Interstate 80. So if you're traveling along Interstate 80 and you're a truck driver, you may want to pull over for a little bit, just take a rest stop or something like that, because this is probably going to be pretty dangerous to drive in. That is why there is a snow squall warning. It's a new warning, by the way, if you've never been introduced to this. I believe it was introduced last year, so it is a new type of warning, or was it maybe 2 years ago? So but again, snow squall warning there in Nebraska, by the way, so that is ongoing. We've actually had a few today. If we go back into the 6-hour loop here, there was actually a bunch of these back over into Colorado and New Mexico, so kind of crazy stuff there. There has been a lot of snow squall warnings today, and actually 17 inches of snow is reported in eastern Colorado, so pretty wild stuff. All right, before I get to my forecast, let me get to chat real quick. Thank you, Clinton, for becoming a Storm Chaser member. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Thank you, Jaws, for becoming a 6-month BIP Chaser member. I also appreciate that a lot. Let's get some claps in the chat for both Clinton and Jaws. Thank you. Appreciate it. How's it going, Ro? Welcome. Thanks, Miss K, for the report. Appreciate it. How's it going, Angelina? How are you doing? Getting freezing rain and sleet in Lansing, Michigan. Yeah, Michigan is really having it's actually a fairly large area that is seeing freezing rain and sleet here. This is the most recent scan. We're just going to pause it here real quick. This is the most recent scan. Actually, freezing rain and sleet will be winding down a bit over the next few hours. We've already peaked in terms of the heaviest of the freezing rain and sleet. There will be more over the next few hours, but it's definitely going to get more light. But for right now, this is the main area here. It's basically from Kalamazoo and Detroit all the way back up through Saginaw, and a lot of freezing rain and sleet here. Big Rapids, as well as Cadillac, and a little bit further up here to the north in the Michigan Peninsula, or up closer to the upper Michigan Peninsula. It is all snow for the most part, and there has been areas actually recently reported, like Midland, around 6 inches of snow. So there actually has been some pretty significant snow there. Some of the more recent reports near La Crosse have been closer to about a half a foot as well, 8 to 9 inches closer to Jackson County and Hatfield. This is an area that was forecasted to see upwards of maybe a foot to a foot and a half of snow, and again, that is still in the picture. It's not out of the question that more snow will happen overnight, and I'll show you why we're probably going to see more snow in just a moment. That will be my forecast here in just a moment. Back through South Dakota as well, no recent reports of snow, but obviously it has been snowing there all day. Blizzard-like conditions are continuing there. And if we go over to the wind gusts, the wind gusts are kind of crazy here. Wind gusts are obviously translating to blizzard-like conditions, and that is most notable here over South Dakota. The highest wind gust right now reported confirmed was 44 miles per hour. That is near Aberdeen, so 44 mile per hour wind gusts there. Back near Green Bay, apparently there's actually been a 50 mile per hour wind gust. That is actually wild. So there have been some very high wind gusts with this, and that is obviously going to translate to the blizzard threat for the rest of tonight and even into tomorrow morning. So those are our big concerns there. All right, let's go over to the forecast graphics. I want to kind of show you what we're expecting for the rest of tonight and give you an idea of what you're going to see. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. And again, if you're just tuning in, friendly reminder to hit that like button down below and subscribe. All right, let's get to the watches and warnings across the northern tier of the United States. We're going to start with the Dakotas real quick. There are blizzard warnings still ongoing. This does not include the Twin Cities. The Twin Cities are in regular, or not really regular, regular, but they're in winter storm warnings. So it's not blizzard warnings there. There are a couple of counties as well in northern Wisconsin currently in those blizzard warnings. We have winter storm warnings all across the country. Actually, real quick, because I don't have this graphic pulled up, this is the nationwide view of watches and warnings. It looked much more wild this morning. I actually posted a graphic on Twitter of it, so if you want to check that out. But there was literally watches and warnings all in this area. I mean, it was literally covering like 90% of this area. There was watches and warnings. It's pretty crazy, but right now it is starting to condense a little bit. The main area of watches and warnings is in the central and northern plains, back through the Midwest and into the Northeast. That is our next area of concern for the threat of obviously some heavy snow along with freezing rain, which will lead to some ice accumulation. Back over even in California, by the way, there are blizzard warnings in effect in Los Angeles. That is a very rare thing, by the way. It hasn't happened in history. So blizzard warnings in effect for Los Angeles. It is primarily for those mountainous regions, but you know, just kind of get the general gist there. There actually are blizzard warnings in effect down there as far south as Los Angeles. That is wild. Back over to the Midwest, blizzard warnings again in Minnesota. Ice storm warnings are continuing through tomorrow morning for those in Iowa, back through the Illinois and as well as the Wisconsin border. Basically, the suburbs of Chicago are in that winter weather advisory for the rest of this evening. This will likely not be much more tonight. It might be a little bit of freezing rain tomorrow morning, but other than that, it's going to be very minimal at really the worst case scenario. All right, so let's kind of break down the timing here for the next few hours. So right now, again, we have all that freezing rain, the sleet that's ongoing from eastern Iowa back through Michigan, and it does obviously extend all the way into New England right now, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. Snowfall is going to remain pretty much moderate to heavy through the rest of this evening. Couple areas I want you to pay close attention to here on this future radar. Back over in the Twin Cities, I know a lot of people have been saying we haven't seen much snow. Where is it? We're forecasted to get upwards of 2 feet. We've only had 6 inches. Well, it's obviously going to be coming tonight. That's really the big thing tonight. Will be the heavy snow overnight. So really that's one of the areas that I want you to watch. Also, keep a close eye near Chicago. There won't be a whole lot, but I want you to kind of keep a close eye there as well. Once we go into the overnight hours tonight, some moderate to heavy snow will continue primarily north of that Illinois-Wisconsin border. Low pressure system will be centered over there in Iowa as well as Illinois. Once we go into tomorrow morning, right around sunrise, moderate to heavy snow will continue in areas like the Twin Cities. So obviously, as I mentioned before, you guys are going to see snow, and it will obviously probably accumulate upwards of maybe 1.5 feet of snow or so once we get to tomorrow morning. Eventually going closer to about 9-10 in the morning, some maybe light freezing rain could be possible. So the most recent HRR model run does actually indicate that this will stay slightly further up to the north, but there may be a little bit more of a drizzle or light area freezing rain once we go into tomorrow morning. Eventually by the lunchtime hours, that is when some light snow will continue back up in Michigan, and eventually going closer to the evening hours and really going into Friday, not a whole lot will be ongoing. Maybe some very brief lake effect snow, but once we get into Friday afternoon, there will be another chance for some snow. Will not be as bad as what we're going to see over the next 12 to 24 hours, but there will be a chance for maybe some light to maybe moderate snow across the Midwest. I'll talk about more on that in actually my forecast tomorrow, so stay tuned. If I don't have a forecast tomorrow, there'll be one Friday. Back through the Midwest in terms of snowfall accumulation, and this is from now until tomorrow, by the way, so this is what you can expect over the next 12 to 24 hours. This is what we're going to be watching for. So again, near the Twin Cities, there will likely still be another 0.5 foot to 1 foot of snow overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. And again, I know a lot of you are wondering, where's that snow? Again, it's coming. It's going to be happening over the next few hours. Back through areas in Wisconsin, I would expect at least 3 to 6 inches. I think these totals are slightly high, but at least 3 to 6 inches is likely. Going a little bit over 6 to 12 inches is definitely not out of the question. So near Green Bay, you might get an additional 0.5 foot, maybe up to 1 foot as well. In terms of ice accumulation, we are going to see some problems out there tomorrow morning. So obviously drive slow if you have to drive tomorrow morning. There will still be some ice on the roadways, primarily near the Illinois-Wisconsin border. Also northeastern Iowa will have that chance for some ice accumulation there over the next few hours. And then back through Michigan, there will be more ice accumulation there. Upwards of 1/4 of an inch of ice will continue to fall, by the way, tonight. So there will be more ice accumulation tonight. It is obviously going to cause some big problems, including the threat for some power outages. A little bit of a closer look for those that will see some additional ice accumulation over the next few hours. through tomorrow, the main areas are going to be Portage, Jackson, South Bend will probably just stay as a cold rain for the rest of this evening. Rockford, that is the suburbs basically, or just outside of the suburbs there of Chicago, possibility for more ice there as well. Arlington Heights will be on the cusp of maybe a little bit more ice accumulation tonight, but again, things will start to improve once we go into tomorrow for these areas. Back through areas in Michigan, we are still talking upwards of maybe anywhere from a trace to a quarter of an inch of ice overnight tonight, so stay wary of that. And then back through the Midwest, I already showed this graphic, but again, that is your ice accumulation for tonight. In terms of travel impacts, this is for the rest of this evening through tomorrow lunchtime hours. We are still going to have some major travel impacts across areas in Minnesota, so if you have to drive, take it slow. But again, it's not recommended that you drive tomorrow, at least through lunchtime then. And then also back near Green Bay, some major travel impacts possible there. Moderate travel impacts anywhere in the orange. Yellow will be representing your minor travel impacts. Now, in terms of power outages, obviously I mentioned this before, there are a lot of power outages here across the Midwest. And beginning with Michigan, this is according to poweroutage.us, we do have actually one county in Michigan that is almost 100% without power. That is Hillsdale County, nearly 100% without power due to the ice. Jackson County, also a very hefty 50% without power, and Lenawee County, hopefully I'm saying the name right, that area is also around a third without power there. So there's been some significant power outages across Michigan. Back through Illinois, not nearly as significant. The only power outages that are very notable are back near Bond County. That is kind of in southern central Illinois. That was from the storms earlier today. And then back over here in northern parts of Illinois, there has been some power outages, but at really worst case scenario, they've been pretty isolated to this point. One county in particular in Indiana also has some pretty significant power outages. That is going to be northeast of Fort Wayne, right around about 30% without power there as well. And then as well as southeast Michigan, not too bad so far. They've actually been not too bad, but there will be an increase of power outages overnight tonight with more ice accumulation and snow to come. Some of these areas right now around 10% without power. Just 3 counties though that are really experiencing any power outages. So some good news there overall. All right, back through the Northeast, there is going to be some snow here overnight tonight. It will be definitely an area to watch for, along with ice accumulation. Heavy snow will continue across northern New England going into tomorrow morning. Freezing rain and sleet will arrive to areas into Massachusetts. Along that Massachusetts and New Hampshire and Vermont border is where we might see some ice accumulation tomorrow. Once we get into the afternoon and evening hours, not a whole lot to be watching for in Massachusetts until we get closer to just after sunset. This is when we might see a little bit more of a round 2 of some heavy snow back into northern New England. Freezing rain possible in Vermont all the way back through Massachusetts. And then once we go into Friday, things will really start to clear out then. In terms of snow accumulation, there will actually be some pretty significant snow accumulation in New England. Some areas will get upwards of 3 to 6 inches. That is pretty much not guaranteed, but it's pretty likely that you'll see that. But there will be some areas upwards of 6 to 10 inches of snow, with a few isolated areas in New York back through New Hampshire being closer to about a foot of snow. So that's what we're expecting tonight. In terms of ice accumulation, there will be a large area of ice accumulation. By the way, look over here in Lake Erie, almost 3/4 of an inch of ice on the lake there. That is pretty wild. At least that's what the HR model is estimating here, but that's just west of New York. Back in areas like Buffalo, there is going to likely be a pocket here of some areas seeing upwards of maybe a 1/2 inch of ice. Where that happens is a bit of a question mark. It might be near Buffalo. It might be a bit further off to the east. So if you're in Buffalo, be prepared for some power outages tonight. And anywhere in this area, at least have your flashlights charged along with your phones, because there might be a few power outages across this region with that big threat again of that ice accumulating and causing power outages. Now, one thing I want to note is the temperatures tomorrow. I mentioned this at the very beginning of the stream. If you've been here since the beginning, I already mentioned this. There is going to be a big temperature extreme tomorrow, and it's going to be very well noticeable across the United States. I'm pretty sure about 80 locations in particular are going to be battling record high temperatures across the Southeast as well as the Mid-Atlantic region. Look back over into Virginia. 83 degrees in Richmond. That is absolutely wild. I don't know what the record high is there, but I'm pretty sure that is definitely going to be beating that previous record high. 83 degrees though in Richmond, North Carolina in the low 80s, even back through New Jersey as well as Delaware. Those areas in the upper 60s and even through the 70s. But back over into the northern plains, this area will be challenging record low maximums back up closer to areas like the Dakotas and Montana. Those areas will likely not even get above 0 tomorrow. And also the wind chills will be absolutely brutal tomorrow morning. This is only a few hours from now. I mean, this is basically like 12 hours from right now. There will be areas feeling as low as 40 degrees below 0. Not nearly as bad as that previous Arctic blast that dropped areas down as low as negative 80 degrees, but this is definitely still very notable. Very, very frigid. Obviously, make sure you're avoiding going outdoors for long long extended periods of time in this sort of weather. And obviously that is brutally cold for sure. So yeah, that's what we're looking at in terms of the forecast here over the next 12 to 24 hours. I will be answering questions, and we'll be live here for a while. We'll have some live coverage for a little bit. Again, we do have a live cam currently present below my face cam. That is currently located here in Wisconsin. I don't remember the exact town location. I'm not gonna lie, but that's what we got going right now. Let me go ahead and do a little zoom out here, and we'll get to chat here in just a moment. I'm not sure which one it was. Might be one of these. Let's see. It should be this one right here. There we go. So yeah, this is a bit more of a better view of everything. So again, this is what it looks like across the Midwest and as well as through New England. This is a 6-hour loop, so you will see a tornado watch. There actually was, in fact, a tornado watch earlier today for those in Illinois and Missouri. That is obviously no longer going. We do have a little bit of some rumbles of thunder associated with some of this rain activity back through Nashville, but really it's not going to be anything severe, so good news there. But again, a lot of reports across the map. I'll probably take off the reports here in just a moment because they are kind of spamming the map here, but all right, let's go ahead and get to the chat. By the way, there are currently about 350,000 people without power, and that is across this entire region. Actually, that's over Michigan, excuse me. So Michigan's seeing some pretty significant power outages, and that's going to continue. There's been a lot of ice there, and there will be more, by the way, over the next few hours. It'll become a little bit more light, though, which is good news. How's it going, Connie? Welcome on in. Yes, Virginia, she is. Thank you. You're working at the airport in Detroit. The ground is wet, but everything else is covered in ice, probably about 0.2 inches thick. Yeah, Detroit has been seeing some pretty hefty ice accumulation too. This is a bit of a closer look at that. This is for some reason like weirdly tilted here. Let me see if we can fix this. There we go. So yeah, Detroit has been seeing some pretty hefty ice accumulation. We'll go back to just an overview here. This is the last 6 hours. I mean, it's basically just been freezing rain all afternoon and evening so far. Now there will be a possibility that does get briefly above freezing. Let's go to the actual temperatures, the METAR data. We'll kind of do a little bit of observation here. But Detroit right now, at one point it was 34 degrees, so the pavement that you're probably at, where it's probably not iced over much, it was likely just above freezing, but really right around freezing right now across areas like Detroit. But there has been ice accumulation here regardless. It hasn't been able to stick, even though the surface temperatures are right around 32 degrees across southeastern parts of Michigan. A bit further up to the north, you can see here, areas like Grand Rapids have seen some ice accumulation, and they're right around 30 degrees. Not really much of any snow. You may have seen a little bit of snow this morning, but there hasn't been really much of any after that. It's just been basically just freezing rain and sleet across this area, and we are still seeing some sleet and as well as freezing rain back through areas west of Chicago as well. There has been more ice accumulation this evening across this region, so definitely some notable stuff there. But yeah, that's what we're seeing so far. I did something weird here. There's a weird tilt on this. Not sure how I get rid of this. Oh, ooh, there we go. All right, cool. Should be back to normal. Hey, Diamond, how you doing? Don't have power. Hey, stay safe. There's a lot of people without power right now. Let me find out what the exact power outage map looks like right now. We just looked at it a moment ago, but there are a ton of power outages across the Midwest right now. I know Michigan is up there right now. Let's see. Michigan, I think, was up to 300,000, which is what I just heard, but I could be wrong. Michigan is at 400,000 without power. Never mind. They are way up there. 400,000 without power in Michigan. Indiana, 16,000, much better than obviously Michigan. Illinois, 110,000 without power. California, by the way, which is seeing some snow, is 54,000 without power. And Wisconsin, 19,000 without power. So yeah, Michigan is seeing some very significant power outages. That is insane. 400,000. That number, I'm pretty sure not too long ago was like 150,000. Hey, Exploration, how you doing? Welcome. Oh, I forgot to post this. By the way, I do now have a new donation link. Just a heads up, we had an issue on the last stream, so that is back to normal. Nationwide weather does keep me busy. Actually, I just looked at this. I don't know if Ninja's here, but we were talking in Discord. I've actually done 254 live streams since April of last year. Most of those being from June till now. So I'm not sure how many days that was since April. How many days ago was April 2nd, 2022? That is about almost one. That's not one live stream a day, but that's about 2 live streams every 3 days. And 326 days ago is when I started live streaming on YouTube. That is wild. Yeah, there's 400,000 without power. How's it going, Shelly? Hey, stay safe in California. There's actually been snow there. It's actually been pretty wild in California. If we go over there real quick, there are blizzard warnings, by the way, in effect for Los Angeles. Not really the city of Los Angeles, it's the mountains, but they are under that blizzard warning. There is snow, though, ongoing in California. They're actually going to be dealing with a winter storm of their own. Real quick, by the way, we do have a new snow squall warning that has just been issued for those along the Interstate 80 area. Brady, Maxwell, and Jeffrey Canyon State Wildlife Management Area are now included in a new snow squall warning until 9:15. So a little heads up here, near North Platte, Nebraska, there is a snow squall warning. So, and stay safe if you're in this area. Get off the roadways if you can. This does mean that there will be a huge downburst of snow here over the next really 12 to not 12, I was about to say 12 hours, over the next 30 to 45 minutes here in this area, and that will be really with the initial snow that comes down. So again, stay safe out here. North Platte is about to get actually hit by this snow squall over the next several minutes, so again, stay safe out there. Thank you, Jaws, for the $100 donation. You did not have to do that, but I appreciate that a lot, Jaws. Let's get some claps in the chat for Jaws with the $100 donation. That is absolutely wild. Thank you so much, Jaws. I appreciate it. That music was extra loud. Thank you for letting me know. I haven't really played with it recently, but I'll have to take a look. Thank you again, Jaws. I really do appreciate it. That is very generous. I have no other words. I really can't. I don't even know. I'm so bad at thanking people, I feel like, but I really do appreciate it. It goes a long way. All right, so let's take a look. Michigan, again, is still at 400,000 without power. The next update for the power outages should come in the next 3 to 4 minutes. And again, the main county without power in Michigan is right now Hillsdale County, nearly 100% without power. It's about like 80%, but some significant power outages there. This does not include Omaha. No, Omaha's way over here. So yeah, the snow squall warnings right now do not include Omaha. That is for North Platte. It's literally along Interstate 80, and that's it. That basically, again, for those that are not familiar with a snow squall warning, I know it's a new terminology and it's obviously a new type of warning, but this basically is essentially telling you that there will be very well reduced visibility, especially on the roadways here, as low as 1/4 mile due to very heavy snow, really the heavy snow bursts that we see with these initial snow squalls. Again, this is kind of what it looks like here. This isn't like your ordinary big cluster of snow. So if we go back over here into Wisconsin, there is snow absolutely everywhere over here, but this is a bit more of a squall. So think of this almost like a thunderstorm here, producing like 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds, but it's obviously not producing winds up to 60, but that's basically what we're looking at there in the North Platte area. But there's actually this snow squall particularly, the details on it, it is moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. So it is very fast moving here. But it basically just means intense bursts of heavy snow, wind gusts leading to blowing snow, and rapidly falling visibility. So wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour are possible. Actually, I wonder if we can get some live cams on this. Let me see if we can get one. Might be able to catch this. Because it actually does say for the source of this, it actually does say it's on live cams here on the highway. I am curious to see if we can get any sort of live camera action near North Platte on this snow squall. That would be pretty cool if we can get something there. Because this is a pretty wild area here. Question will be, can we get one that is, right, we got one near Brady. Let's see if we can get one near North Platte. Unfortunately, I don't think these have motion, but we can at least get some sort of a picture view here. So this is currently live, or not live, but this was about 5 minutes ago west of North Platte. So this gives you an idea of what we're looking at there. Obviously, this is kind of on the back end of the snow squall, so it's not exactly what we just saw, or it is what we just saw, but it's not like what's happening right now. We'll have another view of this here in a moment. This camera that we have out of North Platte should give us a better idea here in a minute. But yeah, again, this is the snow squall here. We will probably see a pretty heavy downburst area of snow here in a moment on the Nebraska camera. So I'll keep you posted on that. But again, that is your snow squall warning here in effect for North Platte. We have a camera view that will probably pick this up here in just a moment. Yeah, we actually have a live cam below me too. This one's actually out of Wisconsin. So for those wondering, you see the flashing yellow lights. I'm not sure if that intersection intentionally has them flashing yellow or it's just something they do here for winter storms. I have no clue, but I'm guessing they're just flashing intentionally there. Thank you, Sage, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Also, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit the like button down below, and as well as make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll keep you posted with the latest on this winter storm. Again, I'll have another forecast tomorrow or Friday, breaking down the severe weather outbreak that is likely going to happen in the central and southern plains. I know, that sounds kind of crazy. There actually is a slight and enhanced risk of severe weather. Let me pull that up real quick while you have a second. For the day 5 outlook, which is going to be Sunday, there is an enhanced risk of severe weather across areas in Oklahoma and Texas and Kansas. The first one we've had like this in a pretty long time at this point, and also a slight risk that goes all the way back through Nebraska. I'll have a forecast on that either tomorrow or Friday, so stay tuned. That'll be a pretty big forecast. I mean, again, we've been covering severe weather events in the Dixie Valley for months now. We're starting to see some sort of change here as we head into March, so that is kind of to be expected, to be honest, but it's been a while. It's been a while, to say the least. It probably will. The area might shift a bit further to the east. I would expect a slight risk, to be honest, in North Texas. I think there'll probably be a slight risk there, but yeah, there'll likely be some sort of slight risker that we'll have going on there. Again, we're waiting the live cam out of the North Platte area. It should come up here in a moment once we see that snow squall roll through. I'm hoping it comes up right in time, but we'll see. Fortunately, I don't think they have live cams. I wish they did. Yeah, the visibility is going to reduce here pretty momentarily. See what happens there. Got about a minute until it hits. Oakland County, Michigan, freezing rain still. Power outages started dramatically increasing. Yeah, Michigan is seeing a significant increase in power outages. Yeah, this number keeps flying up. This is the latest. Let me go to this screen. This is the latest on power outages here. You can look at the top of your screen now. 421,000 without power in Michigan, according to poweroutage.us. The main counties are in, obviously, southern Michigan, where that's where all the ice is obviously accumulating. Main areas, Hillsdale and Lenawee counties, and as well as Jackson County. Those areas are the main three, but there is a ton around them that have also seen Calhoun County, for example, 30% without power. Kalamazoo, 30% without power. There are some serious power outages happening in Michigan. I think it was like 150,000 not even an hour ago. We're now up to 421,000. So power outages are quickly increasing here across Michigan, and there is still more freezing rain coming. It hopefully will start winding down over the next few hours, but for right now, it is still continuing. It will obviously lead to some more ice accumulation as well. Back through even northern Michigan, it's just snow, so those areas aren't really seeing any power outage issues because, you know, they're prepared for that sort of thing. Ice is much harder, though, to prepare for power outages, so unfortunately, that is a big issue here across the Midwest, especially in southern Michigan and really along the Wisconsin and Illinois border. We've seen some issues there as well. Not nearly as bad, but this is what I said even in the forecast yesterday. I was mentioning that this will be an area that will likely have some pretty significant power outages, and that's obviously transpired here in southern Michigan. And it was really going to be either southern Michigan or here. There was a couple of pockets that I thought there might have some pretty significant power outages due to the ice accumulation. Michigan has definitely had a much worse go of that than Illinois and Wisconsin. Those areas have been much more isolated. Michigan is becoming much more widespread, so that's definitely a concern here over the next few hours with the ongoing heavy snow and along with the moderate to really light to moderate freezing rain now. So that's what we're seeing there right now. Lansing, Michigan roads are crazy. Are they packed with snow now or freezing rain? I think that's freezing rain, right? In Lansing, let's see. Yeah, Lansing's there. So yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot of snow. There might have been a little bit this morning, but it is most recent report was 0.3 inches of ice accumulation. So it's definitely not been pleasant, to say the least there. Greenfield, Illinois. What part of Illinois is that at? Not very familiar with that area. Everything is a thick glaze of ice. Hey, if you have any photos, feel free to tweet me on Twitter. My Twitter is linked in the description, but if you do have any photos to send in, feel free to send them in on Twitter. I will be probably retweeting a few of those. There has been some significant ice accumulation for sure across this area. I can hear the trees cracking. under the ice. That is typical with these sort of ice storms. That is definitely very typical. And we saw that in North Texas a few weeks ago when they had the big ice storm. You might remember we had a big ice storm in North Texas, particularly. It went through Central Texas. That was pretty big, and there was a lot of reports of that, but it was not nearly as significant as what I've heard out of Michigan, because there has been a much more hefty ice accumulation, also over a much shorter period of time. North Texas, there was some melting of the ice in between each day that we had ice accumulation, so it was a little bit different there. Michigan is just seeing it all basically in one day, so there's gonna be much more significant ice accumulation in comparison to Texas, where there were power outages, but they're definitely not nearly as widespread as what Michigan is seeing. So that is definitely a big concern there. How's it going, Harrison? Have a good night, Brady. Appreciate you tuning in. Hey, Somni, how you doing? Welcome back. Yeah, Austin had some pretty significant power outages. It was more of a metro, though. I mean, it wasn't like a widespread event in terms of like a region. It was more of a localized area. There were a lot of power outages up and down Texas in a very thin-lined area. I could kind of draw it out here. It's kind of like basically like here. It was basically a line of counties that were without power. But it's kind of similar to what we're seeing here. But this one is definitely much more... I could say thick, but I mean, it would basically be a bit more of a tall area of power outages that we've seen so far. So let me see real quick on the power outage map. I don't know if it's updated again, but I just do not agree with the GFS model. I'll be honest with you, the GFS model is one of the more inaccurate models that I've used in the past year. It's become very inaccurate, in my opinion. That's insane, Mike. It is cold too. I mean, it's not just the snow, it is also really cold. If we go to the wind chills, let's go to the wind chills real quick. Wind chills. This is the wind chills right now. It is 30 below zero in the Dakotas, back through even areas near Chicago and Wisconsin and Michigan. Some areas are literally 0 degrees for it feels like temperature. Where the ice is accumulating, these areas feel like the teens and the 20s, so it does definitely feel cold out there in terms of the wind chills. But that's the most recent. Again, do you guys want the reports on or off this map? Does it look better on, or let me take them off real quick, see how it looks. I'm not really going over the reports right now, so there are a ton of like, I'm talking about the boxes, by the way. Let me see where I can take those off. They're taking up the map though. There we go. So this one looks like without. It looks a little bit better with this out. There are a ton of reports, though. Obviously, a lot of snow out of this. How's Ohio doing? Ohio's doing pretty good. You'll have a little bit of some showers and maybe an isolated rumble of thunder tonight. That's about it. You guys are looking pretty good. I wouldn't expect a whole lot of really ice accumulation at all. There might be a little bit along Toledo, but that's about it. I wouldn't expect anything else there. Yeah, I saw that, Ninja. I mean, I actually kind of like making my own forecast for severe weather outlooks, kind of like that, but no problem, Lisa. Oh yeah, I forgot something. You're in this area, aren't you? Yeah, you're probably having, I mean, it's been unbelievable. I've seen a few photos out of these areas from earlier today, and they didn't look awful. And I saw a couple tonight before I went live. It looks like a completely different story. It ramped up though pretty rapidly today. I mean, it was like this morning, it wasn't nearly as bad. Things got progressively worse, and then it just kind of exponentially got worse tonight with just how everything's unfolded. I would say between about 2 to 6 o'clock was probably the worst time frame for everything, maybe even up until 8 o'clock for those in Michigan. But things are now starting to become a lot more scattered now in nature. If we go to the most recent scan here on the live radar feed, you can definitely notice there's a lot less freezing rain covering the state and sleet. There are a lot more pockets, and I can kind of circle them here, but there are definitely more pockets here of now some more clearing area. Not really cleared out, but obviously there is definitely a break in the action. Flint will start to see more of that light to moderate freezing rain and sleet over the next hour or two. Saginaw may briefly transition to maybe some ice accumulation since the temperatures aloft are becoming a little bit more warm as that low pressure system approaches. So be mindful of that if you're a bit further up to the north. But yeah, pretty wild stuff. I was kind of hoping to go live for the little severe weather threat earlier today, but I had classes. Go figure. But by the way, I will probably be live on Sunday night for those wondering. I might do a live stream Saturday night to go over what's going to happen Sunday night. But there will likely be a severe weather outbreak in the central and southern plains. I plan on going live Sunday night at some point. The main focus will be North Texas, since that is, I'll probably do a dual live stream on Facebook and YouTube for North Texas, so just keep that in the back of your head. I'm assuming there's gonna be other people doing nationwide coverage, so if you need that, feel free to go to those people, but I will likely be doing at least a North Texas live stream on Sunday night for that severe weather. If there isn't much severe weather in North Texas, I'll be doing the entire region, everywhere in the United States for any severe weather, so, but that's basically what we're going off of here right now. Thank you, Connie, for becoming a Storm Chaser member. I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate Clinton and Connie for becoming new members today. Really do appreciate it. By the way, have you guys seen the stars tonight? Has anybody seen them? I'm not sure if you guys looked outside this evening. If you're not in the Midwest and you don't have any clouds in the area, have you guys seen the planets? This is the moon right here. And then this is also, I believe, Jupiter, if I'm not mistaken. You can barely see it. It's that little white speck. And there's also Venus. I'm not sure which one is which. I'm not an astronomer, however you say that. But this was around sunset tonight from Clay Bartley out of North Texas. And there was actually, all three of them were kind of lined up and aligned in the same area. We got Venus or Jupiter, one of the two. They're both in this area, though. And then the moon. It was pretty cool. If you guys saw that tonight, I know North Texas definitely saw it. But I did have a post on that a little while ago. It's pretty cool. Happened last night too. Not sure if anybody caught that. Thank you, Clinton. So Venus is the bottom, and then Jupiter is the top. That makes a little bit more sense. It looked like the one at the bottom was much brighter. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you tuning in. Where is Sparta, Michigan? Oh, sorry, Jelly. I missed your thing. If you go a little bit north of St. Louis, you will be done for tonight and tomorrow, if you're anywhere just north of St. Louis. I'm curious where this actually is. Is it like a smaller area? Might not even pop up on this map. I don't even see it. You're done, though, for tonight and tomorrow. No more snow. There actually might be a little bit of snow, though, going into, not tonight, but Friday. There might be a little bit of snow. I'm not sure if it will extend that far to the south, but there'll be a chance for some light to maybe moderate snow on Friday. I'll have a forecast again on that probably tomorrow. It is very small. Okay, well, that makes sense why I couldn't see it. It only shows the biggest towns and cities, and then I can zoom in and it'll probably show some other stuff. Like Milwaukee, for example. This is a little bit more of a zoomed in look. It starts showing very small areas for the most part. Yeah, I mean, it shows mostly just the big towns and cities. Or big cities, I should say. Pretty wild winter storm when you look at that, though. This is like the widespread view here across the entire United States. Big winter storm over here. Another small winter storm / blizzard over on the west coast. Back up near Seattle, by the way, has actually seen some snow today. So it's been pretty wild. It's like kind of a cool view, though, of the entire United States. Or most of the United States. Florida really isn't included. It's like half of Florida. Or a third or a fourth, whatever it is. Cool fun fact, Clinton. I'm not an astronomer. I wouldn't know. I don't look into stars a whole lot. I mean, I've posted a few things on Facebook here and there for North Texas Weather Center about astronomy, but I mean, I'm not into it a whole lot. The only thing I'm into is when they talk about a new planet being habitable or whatever. But that's about it. When, you know, those are like millions of years away. Whatever. We had thundersleet earlier. I'm guessing that had to have been in Illinois. Or maybe in another state. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention too much earlier on the live radar, but I'm guessing it was probably Illinois or maybe Michigan. Maybe southern Michigan. Pluto. Hey, Virginia, you can check them out on Facebook, too. I actually just posted one a second ago. Posted a few photos over on Facebook. I got a ton of messages, too. I have to go through those at some point. I have over 60 messages on Facebook from people sending in star photos. It's a pretty wild temperature gradient, by the way. Let's go to the temperatures real quick. There's a pretty wild temperature gradient in the southern plains. This is the temperatures. Let me just pause this to right now. And let's go to the METAR data here. We'll go wind chills first because it's kind of crazy. This is the current wind chills and whatnot in Texas. So, and whatnot. Let's go to actually the heat index first. So, it's currently around 80 degrees in southern Texas. Back up in the Panhandle, and that's pretty close to the actual temperature. Back up in the Panhandle, it's now 6 degrees in Perryton. But yeah, it's a pretty wild temperature gradient in the southern plains. You can see areas, let's just go to the regular temperature. So, pretty wild temperature gradient here for sure. Temperatures in the 60s right now in southeast Oklahoma, back into the teens in the Panhandle, and then back into Kansas. Earlier today, Kansas, I think we can go back a little bit here. Yeah, Kansas earlier today, this is about 6 hours ago at 3 o'clock, 73 degrees in southeast Kansas, and it was 9 degrees at the same time back up into northwest Kansas. Pretty wild temperature gradient there as well. And I think maybe Kentucky might have a crazy one, not tomorrow. Actually, they probably won't. This low pressure system is going to go a bit further north. Never mind. Kentucky right now is still in the 70s. That is pretty wild. It's been warm, warm, warm. And tomorrow will be the same way there for Kentucky. It's going to be warm for the next several days. So, a warm stretch. Also, snow squall warning is still ongoing, I believe, for Brady, Nebraska. That is east of North Platte. That goes for another 15-ish minutes. 10 minutes. So, little heads up there. All right, let's go back over to here. Yeah, there's been some. This system is pretty historical for sure. I don't know if it'll go down as an actual historic winter storm, but it is producing tons of history in terms of the temperatures. I mean, we're seeing in the northern plains record-breaking, record low maximums. It's a tongue twister. And then back down in the mid-Atlantic and southern plains, we're talking about record high temperatures. It is 2 different worlds in the United States, and tomorrow will be the day where we see a lot of that action, especially over here in the mid-Atlantic. A ton of these areas will be at record high temperatures. Meanwhile, record low maximums in the northern plains. So there will definitely be some crazy temperature gradients tomorrow as well. We'll see. I'll probably post something on Twitter as well. If you want to follow me on Twitter, the link's in the description. But we will probably post something on that tomorrow once that comes, because there will be a pretty wild temperature gradient then. Let's go over to here. I want to do this again. I kind of like this view. This view is pretty sick. Entire United States. Let me see if I can make this slightly flatter. There we go. Kind of like this view. We've already talked about everything in the Midwest. Looks cool. Yeah, Jeff, it makes a big difference. 1 degree. I always talk about this in, not really my weather forecast per se, but I always talk about this in my North Texas weather forecast when we have a big winter storm, because obviously this is a nationwide YouTube channel. We do nationwide live streams and forecasts and all that, but on Facebook I do local forecasts for North Texas, and I have a lot more time to talk about the region, more specific stuff. And one thing I always mention is 1 degree can make a huge difference between ice and just rain. I mean, it really does. You could be in Chicago and the forecasted forecasted temperature is 33 degrees. That would just be a cold rain in most instances, with maybe some ice accumulation on like trees. But like 30 degrees or 32 degrees could be ice accumulation on both roads and on trees. It is a pretty wild difference. But a 1 degree makes a massive difference for any sort of winter storm when it comes to, especially to ice accumulation, because that can really be a significant hindrance on travel impacts. It can be the difference between no ice to maybe 1/4 of an inch of ice in serious travel impacts. So they are definitely very, very different there. 1 degree though, I always say that 1 degree makes a big difference. But when it comes to a thunderstorm, 1 degrees Fahrenheit doesn't make I would say, huge difference. It makes a difference, but it's not, huge. It can make a difference when it comes to the cap, though. The cap is, if you have, I talk about the cap all the time, but the cap is basically like a temperature inversion in the atmosphere that prevents thunderstorms from building up, and that can also play a big part. When 1 degree difference can actually mean a massive difference between thunderstorms and no thunderstorms. Yeah, 1 degree can make a big difference. I love the 1 degree. All right, let's go back over here. We'll just kind of keep a little region-wide view here for a few minutes. If you have any questions, by the way, feel free to let me know in the chat. Also, if you are just tuning in, make sure to hit the like button down below. It is free to do. We're only 35 likes from 200. And also make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. You can click the red button down below and subscribe. And also click the bell icon so you get notified when I go live. And yep, that's about it. All right. Nick, are you talking about the rest of tonight? One degree can make a big difference. Yeah, Jeff, it's wild. I mean, it's been proven. I mean, it's obviously factual, but you know, when we look at different things when it comes to severe weather or snow or whatever it might be, it really does. I mean, if we even talk about like right now, for example, let's just pause this right here. Let's just go to the temperatures. I wish I could bring up a sounding. That'd be a really good example, but this is the temperatures, for example, across the Midwest. Let's just go to, I mean, let's go earlier today to Chicago, for example. So Chicago at about 3 o'clock this afternoon was 34 degrees. It was probably closer to 33 degrees at this point, but about 33, 34 degrees. If you subtract 1 degree from that temperature, just one single degree, there is likely still ice going on there for sure, or at least freezing rain accumulating, some ice accumulation, unlike higher elevations in terms of trees and stuff like that. But you know, if it was 1 degree warmer than 33 or 34 degrees, we're just talking about a cold rain. In this instance, it's likely just cold rain. But yeah, it makes a big difference. Back up near Milwaukee as well, it was about 30 degrees with just heavy snow. And then as we transitioned throughout the day, temperatures gradually got warmer. 1 degree increase, basically, at least probably in the higher elevations is probably a bit more of a dramatic increase, but at the surface temperatures increased about 1 degree or 2, and that equated to more ice accumulation there in Milwaukee. And then now this evening we're talking about more of a mixture, it seems like, right now near the Milwaukee area. You're kind of on the dividing line, it seems like, in terms of some ice southeastern Milwaukee, and the northwest it's just snow. But yeah, it does make a pretty big difference. I wish I had a better example, but I would need to pull up a sounding for that, and soundings are somewhat confusing sometimes to people. I might be able to pull one up though. Let's see. Chicago sounding. See if I can pull one up. Not sure if we have any. We have a couple from actually this evening. Let's see if we can get one from this evening. This actually might be, this is a good one. So this is in Detroit. For those that want to learn a little bit about weather, here you go. I'll give you an opportunity here. This is the sounding in, I believe, Detroit. Yeah, Detroit, Michigan. Detroit right now is seeing freezing rain. Now, when we look at the sounding, there's a couple of things that we need to look for. This is the temperature right here. So that's 30 degrees Fahrenheit at the surface. Again, it's 30 degrees right at the surface in Detroit. But once we go a little bit higher up in the atmosphere, follow that red line. That is your temperature. I'll draw it in black so it's a little bit more bold here. But the main components I want you to look at is where this goes. Now, here's your temperature. Let's kind of outline this in a different color. This is your temperature here. All right, these are your temperature lines. And the bottom level is at Celsius, by the way. So 0 degrees Celsius is right here. This is 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Look at where this temperature goes. This is, again, freezing. This is freezing right here. The temperature is below freezing in about, you know, the bottom atmosphere, so around maybe 1,000 feet or less. That is where the temperature is below freezing, which is leading to ice accumulation. But here's where it goes crazy. This temperature is above freezing right here. That is why that snow is melting and eventually translating into freezing rain or sleet at the surface. Now, in this case, it is likely probably more sleet right now, but there is likely a little bit of freezing rain as well mixing in. So that is basically what we're looking at here when it comes to a weather sounding. That is what's happening in Detroit, Michigan, for example. We are seeing that very sharp temperature inversion. But again, that temperature inversion is right here. This is where it's above freezing. That entire little triangle that I'm building here, that is your above freezing. That's from about 700-ish millibars to about 850 millibars. So about 1 kilometer up into the atmosphere is where it goes back to below freezing. And I'm not sure about the math on that, but that is probably going to be somewhere around freezing rain and maybe a little bit of sleet. Let's see. Yeah, it's probably more of a sleet, I would say, in Detroit right now, or at least when that was taken. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if anybody's in Detroit right now that can confirm that, but I'm guessing it's more of a sleet right now. Nick, there probably will not be a whole lot more snow in South Dakota tomorrow. Western South Dakota. Probably not a whole lot more. Maybe a few inches at most. There'll be snow overnight, though. Let me take off the temperatures. These things are kind of annoying to look at on the map. There we go. I mean, we could look at another sounding, too. Let me see if I can pull up another sounding. Oh, by the way, this is the snow squall that came through Nebraska earlier. The snow squall warning. This is your visibility. You might remember if you've been here for a while, there's like no visibility. You can barely see the car lights there, and this is like not even a quarter of a mile. So that is what a snow squall warning is all about. Let me see if I can pull up the sounding again. You can probably go to another one a little bit further up to the north. This is going to be in northern Michigan. We'll do another little lesson here if you're interested. But this is northern Michigan for their temperature sounding. So look again down here at the bottom. This is your temperature, 21 degrees Fahrenheit right here. And this is kind of your little inversion. That is your temperature. We're just following up that red line. And that's what we're looking at here. It's actually a constant temperature between 850 to 700 millibars. Kind of cool there, but that's isothermal. Now, when we go over to 0 degrees Celsius, again, this is your Celsius line. This is where the freezing mark is. Notice the temperature is nowhere near that freezing line, which just means it is just snow. Even though there is a temperature inversion here, you can see the temperature actually does increase a little bit around 1 kilometer, which is about 3,200 feet. The temperature is actually increasing and now becomes constant here, which basically means we're just looking at snow. That's what's happening there in northern Michigan. We can talk about these all day, but that's basically what's happening there in northern Michigan, right about here, somewhere up in that direction. I think it might be near. Let's see. Yeah, it's somewhere up in northern Michigan. I don't know the exact town, but this is also another cool one. It's close. This would be back over into actually near Green Bay, I believe. This is where this was taken about. Again, this is a few hours ago, but it's still relevant to now. This is your temperature again. Here's your temperature line. That is freezing mark. Temperature again, 27 degrees Fahrenheit. The surface, it's probably about 29, 30 degrees Fahrenheit here. You can estimate about 30 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever. Again, it is still below freezing, so this is just snow as well. But yeah, that's kind of a cool thing. And you guys can also go to the weather sounding site if you want and take a look at these things. They're kind of cool. This is a wild temperature inversion in Illinois as well. Look at this one. This is actually kind of crazy. This temperature inversion, 33 degrees Fahrenheit at the surface, but look how sharp this thing is. This almost goes to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Only a few hundred, about 1,500 feet maybe off the ground. That's wild. 10 degrees Celsius. That is a sharp inversion. This isn't even, freezing rain at that point. It's probably a little bit of sleet, if anything, at the surface. Probably more of a cold rain, though. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy temperature inversion. Here's New York, by the way. This is actually Buffalo. That's your freezing line. Here is your temperature inversion. It is likely somewhere now around freezing rain and as well as a sleet snow mix. So it's probably more of a snow sleet mix right now. It'll probably transition more to a freezing rain at some point. But yeah, now they're cool sounding. I could go on all day about those, but I'm not going to. They are cool though. How's it going, Shane? Welcome back. See you later, Jelly. Appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, I could literally talk about soundings all day. I probably still could. That looks like a glitch. Let's see. We actually have some pretty cool soundings as well. I'm not sure if we have any from the severe weather. This is actually an interesting one here. If you guys want to look at this real quick. This one is going to be more of the severe weather aspect of this entire thing, which there isn't any, which I'll kind of give you a little reason why. This is another sounding. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's kind of scroll over here. So this is another sounding. This one's a little bit different from the other one. So you can see the surface temperature, 69 degrees Fahrenheit, 53 degrees. This is your dew point, by the way. But this is right around Southwest Ohio. I know we had a couple people watching from there. Lapse rate is about 7.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer, which would be supportive of a little bit of hail in most instances. This is your instability, by the way. There is a very, very thin area, I believe, very thin area of instability that has or maybe like a very small area of instability in the atmosphere. It's not much of anything. You can actually see it tells you down here 2 CAPE. That's it for a forecast surface instability. So there's really no instability here, but when we follow up this line, it falls up an air parcel and it's really right against the temperature, but there's no instability here. Now in a primed environment, if we had a more of a line that was more like, this, for example, this would be a significant amount of instability, this entire area. But since it's all on the left side of that temperature line, we're not looking at any instability there in the atmosphere. Really, if anything, it's like, as I said before, maybe 2 in Cape, which is nothing pretty much. I mean, you really need somewhere upwards of 500 to 1,000 joules per kilogram to have any instability there in the atmosphere. But if we looked earlier today from like St. Louis, for example, it might be better. I don't know if we'll be able to pull anything up from there, but let me see if I can. Not sure. I know they have an archive, but I'm not sure if they have anything from that would be relevant for that area. They actually have one in northern Oklahoma. All right, we got one in central Illinois. This is a good one. This shows you the instability right here. Little area of instability, very small, but it's again another area of instability here. That line, that dashed line, again, your temperature, 41 degrees Fahrenheit at the surface, by the way. Crazy temperature inversion. But that was in central Illinois this morning. By the way, they saw actually a little bit of severe weather earlier. This is the 6-hour loop. If we go back here at about 3 o'clock, there was a tornado watch, storms rolling through. So there was obviously some severe weather there. Look at the day 5 enhanced. I already am aware of it. I will be talking about it in tomorrow's forecast more than anything, or Friday. One of the two. How's it going, Matt? Welcome back. I'm a great science educator. I'm just telling you what the weather is. It's not really education. It's more of it's kind of a general explanation. I could probably make that into a video. Be a good video to make. A little soundings video. I'm in Lincoln, Nebraska, and it's icy. It is icy in Nebraska. Actually, not a whole lot of Nebraska, maybe like eastern Nebraska, but I know North Platte recently, they were under a snow squall warning. Most recent thing that's happened there. It is winding down in most of Nebraska, but we do have one more snow squall basically to deal with here that will cause some travel impacts probably along the roadways, especially Interstate 80. So there will be reduced visibility, but overall, most of the action is going to be diminishing over the next few hours, which is good news up in the Midwest. That you watched, by the way, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Welcome. And again, if you have not already, make sure to hit the like button down below, and also make sure to hit the red button and subscribe. If you've not already, would appreciate it. Join our channel and latest weather updates, live streams, all that sort of stuff. To subscribe. All right. That's good, Kat. That's really good. I did mention that earlier. Make sure I have a flashlight in handy. Also, I am curious, for those that have been here for a while, have you gotten prompted any ads, like just randomly? I put something on that I guess YouTube just rolled out. It's called like mid-roll ads or something like that. I'm not sure if anything has actually been done with that, but let me know if you've been here for a while. Virginia, not really. Not really. I don't have any really thoughts right now. The only thought I really have, I mean, it's probably gonna be a pretty widespread, at least rain event, thunderstorm event, across the plains, but it's kind of hard to put that in perspective here when I don't have anything to actually show you in terms of colors. But it's gonna be a pretty large scale trough. It'll bring, you know, storms up and down Texas all the way through potentially Nebraska. My main thoughts right now is just to see what evolves over the next 24 hours, see if there's any big changes, because you know there was a severe weather event that was slight risked on a day 6 outlook or a day 5 outlook in the Dixie Valley recently. It was actually down in here or somewhere in here. It was like literally last week. The event just happened today. This was the event today that was supposed to be a slight risk. It actually got downgraded to a marginal threat on the day 3 outlook. It obviously got upgraded again to a slight risk on the day 2 outlook, but you know, things change, so we'll see what happens. This I don't think will change much. It's already an enhanced risk, by the way, of severe weather. If we go over to the day 5 outlook, it's already an enhanced risk here across the southern plains, but there could be some minor changes to this, so no big thoughts right now, but it will probably be somewhat significant, especially in Oklahoma and southern Kansas. I think this will be more of a damaging wind threat, to be honest with you. But there might be a few tornadoes and maybe some hail with it as well. But it'll be more of a damaging wind threat, most likely. Thank you, Spike, for the $9.99. I appreciate it. Any weather predictions for Green Bay, Wisconsin tomorrow? Weather predictions. I got a lot of weather predictions. I'm not sure if I can really give you any big predictions. I mean, the main thing for Green Bay tomorrow will be the continuation of some snow. That'd be pretty much about it. Let me show you the future radar here. It's going to be mainly snow for you. If we go over to the radar here, here's your future radar. It's going to be primarily snow for the most part. So this is overnight tonight, just some snow. There might be a brief transition to maybe some freezing rain, which could cause maybe a glaze of ice at the most near Green Bay. It's a low chance. I wouldn't expect much of anything out of that. It's probably mainly going to be snow. But once we go through even tomorrow around, 9 o'clock or so, there's still going to be some moderate to heavy snow there. Your last band of snow will probably be ending just before lunchtime. And eventually by the afternoon, things clear out. There will be another chance for snow heading into late Friday night into Saturday. It's a low chance, or it's not really a low chance, like a medium chance right now, but it will not cause significant snow accumulation. Just a few inches if you're lucky. This is the next several hours. We'll go over the next 16 hours or so. Green Bay, between probably about 5 to 10 inches of snow. It's kind of a wide range. More specifically, kind of in that 6 to 10 inch range, most likely for you. I wouldn't rule out an isolated spot near you getting close to 11 or 12 inches, but it's pretty low chance at this point. But that's probably what we'll see overnight tonight. Thank you, by the way, for the telling me. So there was a couple ads. Okay. I'm just testing it out. I won't use those on the mid-roll ad thing. I will not use on severe weather live streams or anything. I just figured I'd put it on tonight to see what it actually does. And since it's just a discussion stream, it's not really anything too crazy. Thank you, Miss K, for the $75 donation. I appreciate that a lot, Miss K. Thank you so much. Let's get some claps in the chat for Miss K as well with the very generous $75 donation. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. I just saw that. I appreciate that. Thank you. I got 2 since I've been on. Gotcha. Okay. Florida, Cynthia. In very hot Florida. Mike, I did not choose those ads for you. Trust me. It's just random. It's just random on YouTube. Hey, Megan, how you doing? I was hoping you'd be on earlier. I just go live when I can. Tonight was actually right now is a pretty decent time for me to be live. It's 10:30. Got all the homework done for tonight. I actually took an exam this morning on thermodynamic meteorology. No clue how I did on it. I'm not gonna lie. I have no clue. No clue at all. But I probably failed. I'm not gonna lie. Thermodynamic meteorology, anything thermodynamic named typically is a very difficult class. It's mostly math related too, so. Not a fan of the mid ads. Yeah, I mean, I'm just testing it. And honestly, I wish that members could just get, bypass these ads and stuff. I wish that was a thing. That would make being a member on any YouTube channel in general so much more worth it. No ads on the channel. Be fantastic. I wish that was a thing. Because I know on like platforms like Twitch, they have that. 10:27? Yeah, it's 10:27 here too. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat. Quick update on the Michigan power outages. We have a significant amount of power outages in Michigan right now. This is getting much worse as we go throughout the evening. We are now up to 500,000 without power in Michigan. This just keeps getting worse. So again, if you're in Michigan, make sure that you are staying safe this evening. There will be more power outages from where this came from. Let me real quickly take a screenshot of this. Go and post this on Twitter. It's pretty wild. Power outages have been absolutely insane in Michigan tonight. And they are just going to get pretty much worse, unfortunately. The ice just keeps accumulating and it's leading to more power outages, and yeah. Share this on Twitter. Right. You guys want to check out my Twitter, by the way, and you want to follow me and see some of the photos and stuff like that, you can go over to my Twitter. I'll link it in the chat for those that are wondering. Actually, I just posted the status that I just posted, but the latest update there. Power outages are wild, though. 500,000 in Michigan. I'm not sure if they've increased a whole lot in Wisconsin. I don't think they have. Yeah, Illinois is like the second top state right now in terms of power outages. Thanks, Oki. I appreciate it. I'm not closing on. I'm never gonna reach 1 million subscribers. Don't even. I wish I would, but I mean, it's not gonna happen. 1 million is way too many. I don't. Honestly, I kind of like the size I'm at. Makes these streams a lot more interactive, and I enjoy doing that. No, I'm saying never. It's not happening. I'll prevent it from happening. I really can't, but honestly, if I get to 100,000 subscribers, that's pretty much my goal. That's it. I don't really care about getting more than that, because I just want to get that one. You know how these YouTubers, and when they hit 100,000 subscribers, they get, like, that plaque. That's all I want. Never know. It might happen someday. It'd be pretty cool to have one of those. That's like my only goal though on YouTube. I could care less about ever getting more than that. Just for the plaque. That's it. It'd be such a cool achievement, and it's something that I never even thought of until recently. I didn't realize people get plaques for 100,000 and whatnot, but that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I like the size too, honestly. Like, having 300 viewers right now, that's perfect. I would rather have that many. Honestly, I mean, I would rather be helping more people, but 300 is like a perfect size for interaction stuff. I put up the plaque on this door behind me. This random door. Show New York details. New York is going to be dealing with freezing rain for a little thin area here over the next several hours. Snow, primarily heavy snow, will be ongoing in the northern half of the state. So upstate New York primarily, this will be your area of heavy snow. That could accumulate to upwards of a foot of snow, by the way, in a few areas. Isolated amounts that high. Most areas will be between 4 to 8, maybe some areas closer to 8 to 10. But that's what we're looking at across New York. Freezing rain and sleet will be continuing. For those in Buffalo, this will accumulate to ice. Most significant ice accumulation will be along that Interstate 90 stretch, as well as right along the New York and Pennsylvania border. There will be some ice accumulation overnight tonight, and even back through Massachusetts, we're already having reports of some ice accumulation there. So that will continue throughout the evening and overnight hours for those over in New York. In Rome, New York. I've actually never heard of that. But I've actually, to be honest with you, I've never really been that many. I've never really been to New York. Just thinking about it. I've been there like a few times for driving through it, but I've never really been to New York. Yeah, I haven't. How's it going, Connie? Welcome back. A large tree is down on a road in Sleepy Hollow, Illinois, due to accumulation. Thank you, Devin, for the report. Will there be a live on Monday? It's either going to be Sunday night or Monday morning. One of the two. I'm not sure what's going to happen yet. Again, my main focus on severe weather in the Southern Plains anytime over the next several months through early May is going to be mainly North Texas. I will go live for other events if they're not impacting North Texas, but North Texas is my main coverage area in terms of every media I have, including YouTube, in terms of big events and stuff. So I'll focus North Texas if I do go live Sunday night, if there is severe weather there. A bunch of ifs in there, but if there's no severe weather in North Texas, we'll be doing a region-wide live stream most likely. Not guaranteed, but most likely. I might have a few things going on until 10 o'clock, but I think the severe weather event is going to happen just after 10, so that might be perfect timing. But I will be busy most likely until 10 Eastern. Oops. Watertown is going to be seeing some snow, Tammy, for the next several hours. Watertown's actually, you can see it here on the map. It's right up here. Some snow actually already beginning. It's becoming, it was light to begin with around 6. We're starting to see more moderate to heavy bands now entering off the lakes as of 9:30. So, right along Interstate 81, some heavier snow is now picking up. I'm not sure if we have any reports out of here quite yet. Let's see. Pause it here. Yeah, no reports there yet. South of Buffalo, already at 0.2 inches of freezing rain. We've already had a few inches of snow near Albany. Tons of other reports as well across these areas. So there's been a ton of several various reports of freezing rain and snow across the Midwest as well. Just rain all day. Thank you for the report, Mary. Hey, Clinton, I totally understand. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. I'm in college as well, by the way. So, I mean, it makes it really difficult. I mean, really anything I make on YouTube or Facebook is just going into college for the most part. But yeah. Timothy, who is Ryan? Not sure who you're talking about. If you go live on Facebook for North Texas, yes, no, Virginia, I will be doing a simultaneous, can't say that word, but I will be doing a live stream both on YouTube and Facebook. It will not just be on Facebook. Trust me, I wouldn't do that. I always do it on both, or at least I will always do it on both for these sort of events. If it's like a marginal threat and it's like one single storm or something like that, that's like, you know, a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail, I'll do a live stream probably simultaneously on the More Max Velocity YouTube channel and on Facebook. Yes, Western Iowa will have a chance for a snow squall tonight. This is the snow squall. You will see it approaching here. That is where it is right now. It's back over in Nebraska. I'm not sure if Iowa will see a whole lot out of this. Let me see. Not sure how long this will last because this is just a squall kind of basically disattached from the low pressure system. If you're in northwestern Iowa, a chance overnight for maybe an additional coating to an inch or two at worst with that little snow squall there. That's about it though. Thank you, St. Paul, for subscribing. Appreciate it. North of Omaha, you have a low chance, probably just flurries though. About it. Have a good night, Cynthia. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a safe rest of your night. Yeah, Southeast Michigan is getting a lot of power outages right now. I think we're up to almost 600,000 without power in Michigan. Power outages have been getting very, very high over the last several hours. Actually, most recent update is now 300. I'm not sure if this is accurate or not. It actually says 342,000 now without power. It dropped by almost 200,000. That may be a miscalculation, according to poweroutage.us. But again, it might not be accurate. I'm not entirely sure, but... Two inches of snow and still coming. 2 inches of snow is, you know, that's kind of in the range of like, I want that. Anything more than like 6 inches of snow is when it gets to the point where I'm like, no, thank you. You can take that somewhere else. Actually, crazy enough, the snowfall potential for northeast New York, upstate New York, south of Burlington, just west of Vermont there. I'll actually outline it here on here. So a little cubby there. Currently estimated to see between 18 to 24 inches of snow. That's a little, I think it's a little bit further south. It's like right about there. So that's going through tomorrow and actually through Friday. There will be some snow there as well. There actually could be some pretty significant ice accumulation near the Berkshires of Massachusetts, western Massachusetts. Up to almost half an inch of ice could happen there. That would cause some very serious power outages there as well. I want spring. I think a lot of people do. I would like it to be winter here in Florida. Winter in Florida is pretty nice. 70s, but recently it's been like the 80s. It's been warm. We got virtual learning tomorrow. I love the days when we had virtual learning. That's complete sarcasm. Virtual learning was the worst thing ever. Back when there was a snow day. It'd be like, you know, I want to enjoy the snow outside, but instead I have to learn. And these things we're not even going to really do in class anyways. That's literally what virtual learning was. At least in my school. It might be a little bit different nowadays. I have no clue. How much snow for the storm in central Wisconsin? These are just reports. These are various reports. We had a few earlier. Most recently, about 8 to 9 inches in western parts of Wisconsin. We don't have any recent reports really in central Wisconsin. 6:30 tonight, it was about 6 inches near Dorchester in Taylor County, but it's probably closer to like 8 now or something like that. So they're definitely much higher. We haven't had any recent reports though. Almost 9 inches north of Milwaukee. There has been some more significant snowfall accumulation in those areas. But yeah, there hasn't been any recent reports on here. I could look at the estimated, but it's probably gonna be in that range of like 6 to 10. How's it going, Pro Magic? Welcome back. That's crazy, Connie. I'm glad you're safe. That's one of the dangers of being on these very icy roads, especially in these events. Ice storms are much more dangerous than winter or regular snowstorms. They, they cause significant travel impacts. So. Wosawu, Wisconsin. I can't even say that name. The city names in Wisconsin are like the hardest ones to pronounce, I think, in the United States, or some of the hardest at least. Oshkosh. Let me figure out where that is real quick. I can try to check to see if there's been any reports there in Wisconsin. I need to figure out where the exact location is, though. Oh, that's like right on the bay. Oh, never mind. That's just west. Let's see. So south of Green Bay, let's look. We might have had a few reports there. Oh, there it is. We had one at 5 o'clock of 2 inches. Most recently, 6-7 inches. You're probably close near to 10 inches now, I'd say. It's probably getting pretty close to that 10-inch mark. More recent reports are around 7, so. Just a friendly reminder, by the way, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. It's that red button. It's free to do, and you can get the latest weather forecast nationwide. We'll cover the snowstorms and winter storms for you all winter long, and all the severe weather as it approaches in the spring. And also make sure to hit the like button if you're new here. Let's get to 300 likes. We're pretty close to it. Wisconsin town names, I mean, we can zoom in a little bit. Rhinelander, Rice Lake, Eau Claire, I think was this one. I can't remember exactly. I remember covering this for a baseball-sized hail event back last summer. This one, I have no clue. Marinette, maybe? That's actually over in Michigan. I have no clue about that one. Oshkosh, I think. Lacrosse. I think if we zoom in a little bit further, it gets much harder. Some of these smaller towns are harder. Shawanu? Maybe? This one, I have no clue. I have absolutely no clue. Fond du Lac. Maybe? This one right here, I can't remember. I remember covering this for severe weather one time too, and I have zero clue. Some of these towns... Wisconsin's a difficult state to pronounce names in. Oh, Connie is here. Perfect timing on pronunciations. Jawanu. Washaw. Or Wausau. Alright, we got that one. Actually got that one? Fond du Lac? That's impressive. I will not move to Wisconsin. I will also, if I ever get a news offer or news station offer in Wisconsin, I will not take it. Because I will have no clue how to pronounce these town names. I'll get spammed with emails saying, you did not pronounce this right. You should be fired. I literally have no clue. Yeah, power outages are significant in Wisconsin, or not Wisconsin, in Michigan right now. They are really significant. It was at 500,000 at one point. I'm not sure if it's still that high, but they were really up there recently. There have been some significant power outages in Michigan. Husband is plowing in Oshkosh. Maybe saying the name right. And he said even the city streets are not being plowed. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult when you have all this snow falling and just the ice also. I mean, they haven't, I'm pretty sure, yeah, you haven't seen any ice, but you've seen some really heavy snow, and when the wind is, blowing 25, 35 miles per hour, it causes a lot of drifting and blowing snow. And sometimes there's just no point to plow because the blowing snow is just going to continue to go on the roadways, and drifting happens, and then that's when snow just accumulates right back onto those roadways. So there isn't much of a reason to be honest. Yeah, it's difficult when you have all this snow falling in a very short amount of time. Happy birthday, Somni. Hey, I hope you don't have power outages. Are you in the ice rink, basically? Like the ice where the ice is falling? Or ice is falling, where the freezing rain's falling and accumulating to ice. Are you in that area? Or are you in the snow part of this system in Michigan? Because the freezing rain, to be honest with you, it is winding down. This was 6 hours ago. 3 hours ago. You can see it's all pink and purple. And this is the last 2 hours. There's been a big improvement in terms of how much freezing rain is falling. This is like right now. It is a lot less than earlier. So power outages from here should only really be less in terms of the widespreadness of this. There might be some isolated power outages near Interstate 90 and 96, but or 96. It's not 90 and 96, just 96. There might be some isolated power outages there, but we've seen some areas here upwards of ½ inch of ice being reported. There's been significant, to say the least. Tree limbs are down due to heavy icing over in I'm not gonna be able to pronounce that town name either, but that's west of Detroit. And then another area with downed wires reported with it throughout the county, actually, over in Ann Arbor. So there has been some significant ice accumulation in those areas for sure. Chicago will not be seeing much snow at all tonight. I wouldn't even expect any. Temperatures will be above freezing, just cold rain for the most part. Connie, we're not talking about it. I know, I haven't done that still. I really have not had time. I'll be real. I've literally not had time to do that. It's not like a short drive to get them adjusted either. It's like 30 minutes. Wait, what'd you say? Let me see. Wait, which area are you in? I didn't see what your message was. Are you in the ice area? Yeah, all the power outages for the most part have been south of Lansing. We had a better view. Let me actually pull up the Twitter post that I posted, because this will give you a better idea here of what we're looking at. But yeah, this is what we're looking at here in terms of power outages. This should be fine. So yeah, this is approximately about a half an hour ago. Pretty much everything has been south of Interstate 96. The red indicates much higher percentage of power outages. Nearly 500,000 were without power about 30 minutes ago. I'm pretty sure it did surpass 500,000 briefly. But yeah, it's pretty much all south of Lansing. We have a couple of spots with isolated power outages, which will probably occur over the next few hours. There will be some areas with isolated power outages. You know, even in central Michigan, there might be a few areas with isolated power outages. But yeah, it's primarily been along the Indiana, Ohio, Michigan border area and just north of there. That has been basically where we've seen all the power outages. There have been a few in northeast Illinois and a few in southeast sections of Wisconsin, but it has not been that significant to this point. Thanks, Shannon. I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate that a lot. That's good, Connie. That's good. Yeah, I mean, if you're on the snow side of things, power outages are a lot less likely, for sure. So, as long as you're not in one of those areas, you'll be good. Let me see if we can get closer to Green Bay. I'm not sure if we have any. We might have a few live cams to look at here. I mean, if you want, you can look at the roadways right now. It's actually crazy. Look at this live cam here. It's a bit blurry, but look at the cars on the roadways. That's crazy. That car's flying. This is the roadways out of Ashland Ave. The wind is crazy here. Camera is now frozen here, but let me go back to this here. So this is the video. The wind is whipping though here in the Interstate 41 near Ashland Ave. This is looking northeast. So wind is whipping. Snow is not really, it's not really snowing much right now, but you can see the roadways are just covered in snow right now. So just one of the very many things here that we're looking at in terms of snowfall accumulation. That's again in northeast parts of Wisconsin. We might have a couple of other. We have a few other ones too that we can look at. I'm not sure if any of these have heavy snow coming down right now. This might actually be a cool one to look at. This one right here, wherever it went. A bit more of a zoomed out one here, but you can see a few cars on the roadways. Not much, just a few. Not sure what that says at the bottom, but again, kind of in northeastern parts of Wisconsin. Snow is definitely on the roadways. Only a few cars at most are even driving out there. It's probably people that are, on, first responders potentially, or just a few people trying to brace the elements here from work or whatnot. But yeah, there aren't many people. You can see actually on the right side, there's now a bunch of cars here. Good 5 or 6 of them traveling up the Interstate 41. So frozen tundra. It's pretty close to what it is. Thank you, by the way, Chicago Mark, for subscribing. I appreciate it. It's actually a cool one right here. Back over in Madison Street or Mason Street. Cool little video here. You can see a truck on the road. The roads are completely snowed over. See all the cars behind that truck. They're just trying to avoid being that close to them. But yeah, all those cars are getting off of that exit. That car almost crashed into the other one right there. So we're just looking at that. But yeah. Cool stuff, though. I mean, again, this is what we're looking at out there. It's like hardly any cars on the roadways here. So, I mean, that's pretty much what we're going to be looking at the rest of this evening. And then through tomorrow morning, I wouldn't expect many cars to be on the roadways. It's just, there's snow everywhere out there. So, thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. Thank you, David, for the $5 donation. I don't trust my local TV weather. Okay. Do you think it'll be too dangerous to drive a semi from 9 to 12? Where exactly, David, are we talking? Because you didn't leave a location in the donation. I appreciate the donation, though. Thank you very much for the $5. Yeah, just let me know the location in the chat. Oh, Missouri? Yeah, there was a tornado watch earlier. This is, if we go through the 6-hour loop, this was the very beginning of it. The tornado watch did include eastern Missouri as well. There was a serious amount of wind with this thing, by the way. There was a bunch of wind reports earlier today, but yeah, there was a little bit of severe weather. I'm not sure if there really was any tornadoes today, but there was definitely a lot of damaging winds for sure. Yeah, road conditions will still be somewhat dangerous tomorrow morning. It just depends on where you are, though. I just need to know the location. Or general area, at least. Yeah, if you're like right along the... If you're like Chicago, for example, there was ice earlier today, but there wouldn't be any problems most likely tomorrow. Oops. Yeah, a tornado warning in Wentzville today. I had to take shelter. Yeah, there was a few tornado warnings today. I'm not sure how many there were, but there was a good 3 to 4 at least. On the next, big snow system roll through Chicago. Probably nothing in the short term. Let me look real quick and see. I'm pretty sure the European model hasn't been hinting at anything in terms of huge snow events. Chicago, I think, is going to be in the clear for a little while. There will be a little bit of snow potentially on Friday, maybe early Saturday, kind of that time frame, but it will not be significant. There may be a winter storm next Monday, but it will probably be to your north. Again, I mean, this is the only thing that the European model's hinting at, which we're not really, this is not a forecast. It's like 200 hours out, but that's the only thing. But again, things change a ton between now and then, so yeah, I wouldn't even trust that. That's way too far out to be talking about. Have a great night, Virginia. Appreciate you tuning in. Great, safe rest of your night. Appreciate you watching. John, it's way too early to talk about that one. That's gonna change. Oh, and the one on Monday? Probably not. No, it'd just be snow. By the way, if you're new here and you have not already, join our Discord server. If you have Discord, you can talk with me off the stream and stuff like that. Link will be in the chat from Nightbot. David, I never got your message about what exact area your donation. So let me know in the chat if you can. If you're talking under a different name, let me know too, because I haven't seen your message yet. Any more snow in St. Louis? There might be. I mean, we're not out of the picture yet in terms of snow. We're still right now in mid-ish, maybe late February. Yeah, it's technically late February now. There's still a chance for another snowstorm or two. There's definitely going to be a couple more in the United States, probably one or two more somewhere in the Midwest. I would probably say Texas is about done with snow. Not entirely done, but you're probably getting pretty close to being done. I mean, you might get maybe one more brief event, but I mean, we're starting to get pretty close to March. So things start to kind of change more into a severe weather pattern. There's occasionally a winter storm or two in the northern tier of the United States, but there will not be a whole lot, I would say, here across the Midwest beyond probably maybe mid to late March. Might be one, though. Yes, Southern California is currently facing a blizzard. It is pretty wild. You know, Los Angeles is under a blizzard warning. I don't think that's ever happened before, so it's pretty wild. Problem magic. It's easy when the chat's not moving that fast, I'm telling you. I like these streams when they're around 300 viewers. It makes it very easy to read chat. Makes it very, very simplistic. I don't have to look at a spamming chat. When it's like 1,000, it gets really difficult. Lowell, Massachusetts, I think, I can't remember. I know where that is in Massachusetts, but let me look real quick. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be in that like 1 to 3 inch range. You might be closer to 2 to 4 inches, probably, though. It'll probably be right around 2 to 4 inches. There's a low chance for maybe a few more inches than that. Depends on how long this snow lasts. This is what's going on right now. There's been some heavy snow there near Lowell. You can see it here over the last few hours. It's picked up more. Temperatures are dropping. They will start to increase a little bit overnight. But yeah, you'll probably at least get somewhere in that 2 to 4 inch range. If not, maybe a little bit more than that. Maybe upwards of 6 to 8. It's not out of the question by any means. It's not out of the question there. 2 to 4 is much more realistic. Thank you, David, for another $5 donation. I appreciate it. You didn't have to donate again to ask the question, but I do appreciate it. Thanks, I appreciate it. Des Moines ice problems from 9 to 12. Well, we'll have to look at a couple things to really nail that down here. Let me first go to this screen, and let's go through the forecast real quick for you. So tomorrow morning in Des Moines, we'll do a little local view here on Iowa. There will be a chance there won't be any more additional ice accumulation tonight or tomorrow morning. It's going to be clear. The only thing is, will the temperatures get above freezing, and are the roads treated? So tomorrow morning, temperatures will be dropping, so there will not be much of any break. It depends on what the road conditions are tomorrow morning, because the temperatures right now, for example, they're right around freezing, so some ice should melt off tonight in Des Moines. If you're traveling like west, it might be a bit more dangerous. If you're traveling east as well, it'll probably be a little bit less dangerous. If you are traveling, take it slow on the roadways, because there will definitely be some issues out there, but it just depends on what direction you're traveling. Did you leave that in the message? 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. There will probably still be ice on the roadways, but I'm not sure if they're going to be treating the roads at all or not. I have no clue. That's kind of the big thing. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, take a look at different traffic apps and stuff, and maybe even the local news. They might tell you that as well, and tell you if these roads have been treated or not. Because I am not entirely sure whether they are safe to drive on or not specifically, but there should be some improvement though, because the temperatures will briefly get above freezing overnight. But temperatures will go right back to below freezing for the rest of the Thursday and Friday. So hopefully that somewhat answers your question. Try to do the best I could. All right. That's crazy, Brandon. There's been some crazy snow over the last few weeks. Or crazy winter storms, I should say, because there's been the big ice storm in Texas the other week. That was wild. This one is a a combination of snow and ice, primarily ice. But there is a little bit of snow as well, or not primarily ice. It's primarily snow, but there is some ice as well. Primarily in southern Michigan is where we're seeing that. The Texas winter storm, which is more of an ice storm, was mostly just ice. There wasn't a whole lot of snow to it. It was primarily just ice accumulation. So two events have some differences for sure. One was more of an ice event. This one's more of a snow event. It's kind of a balanced event almost, but a little bit more hefty. It's a bit more lenient on the snow. The ice. Power just went out briefly in southeastern Wisconsin. Yeah, southeast Wisconsin has that chance for some power outages tonight with that ice accumulation. But the good news is the freezing rain is now winding down a bit. There will be a little bit more, but probably not much more. The only counties with actual power outages right now in southeast Wisconsin are south of Milwaukee. It is pretty much just these three counties in Wisconsin. Power outages. And for those in Illinois, it's basically this entire area. I'm just trying to trace it here, but it's basically this area as well with power outages. So you get the general picture here. These two areas have obviously seen a lot of freezing rain and sleet, which has now equivalated to some power outages due to the ice accumulation on power lines. So definitely been a lot of that today in those areas. But yeah, Michigan has been the worst hit by this, with many areas getting over half an inch of ice accumulation. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people getting some snow. I mean, the snow is not done. This winter storm's not done, even though it's winding down right now. There is still more snow to come overnight. Twin Cities is now really picking up on snow right now. There will be more snow overnight tonight as well. There's actually been a recent snow report that I want to take a quick glance at. About 9 inches of snow now south of Minneapolis, but there will be more snow overnight and into tomorrow morning. So areas like the Twin Cities will probably still get upwards of over a foot. They might get close to 1.5 feet. I do not think they'll get to 25 inches, luckily, but there will likely still be more of a snow event overnight tonight back over there in Minneapolis. A lot of Wisconsin been ranging anywhere from like a couple inches upwards of, over a foot now of snow. But snow is going to continue tonight. There will be a little bit of freezing rain, but it's mostly going to transition into snow across the Midwest. Freezing rain and snow will continue across the Northeast. Over 4 inches of snow has now fallen near Albany, so there has been a lot of snow there. I would assume that areas like Manchester, Lowell, these heavier bands of snow will probably get closer to 4 to 5 inches before the transition to ice occurs, or even just, the freezing rain sleet mix, I should say. But there will definitely be some significant snow there as well. Alrighty, well, that's gonna be it for the stream. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. It's been a long, or not really a long stream, but it's been about almost 2 hours on a forecast discussion. But I do appreciate everybody tuning in. Before you leave, friendly reminder, hit that like button down below. It's free to do and helps out the page a lot. We are very close. We're only about 34 likes away from 300, so make sure to hit the like button before you leave. Also, if you're new here, hit the red button down below and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And click the bell icon as well so you get notified whenever I go live for these big winter storm events and also our latest forecast. We do nationwide forecasts. So if you're not in this area, we do forecast for you still here across the United States. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Shout out again to Jaws for the $100 donation earlier in the stream. I really do appreciate it if you're still here. As well as Miss K, thank you so much for the $75 donation. You guys were absolutely very generous tonight. I really do appreciate it. And anybody else that super chatted, as well as David, by the way, thank you for the $10. But anybody else that has donated or super chatted tonight, or even just subscribe to the YouTube channel or like the video, I really do appreciate you guys as well. Thank you all for tuning in. Really helps the page out a lot. We'll have a forecast probably tomorrow, but if not tomorrow, which it might not be tomorrow, I don't know yet. If there's no forecast tomorrow, I'll have one out Friday for that severe weather event coming up this weekend and that winter storm that might be coming with it as well, going into early next week for the Midwest again. So we'll have a forecast on that either tomorrow or on Friday. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. Have a great, safe rest of your night. Jack, I probably won't. Don't worry. Have a great, safe rest of your night. We'll see you guys all again soon. Thanks for tuning in.